Thanks, Yasmina. Okay, hi everybody, I'm Louisa, and I'm going to talk to you about the inadvertent time machine that is my brain, or, as I like to say, how I've come unstuck in time. And until a couple of days ago, I was actually going to talk to you about unicorns and show you pie charts, but then I started having this conversation with my friends, and it turns out that this isn't just me that's fascinated by this topic. And so, basically, what I mean when I say I've come unstuck in time is that I remember stuff. I mean, I don't remember everything, obviously, but I remember lots of things. The thing is that I can't usually remember when things happened. The days, months, years have become really elastic, and so this leads to some interesting social fuck-ups. A really good example was a couple of years ago, don't know how many years ago, case in point, I was doing a workshop with a friend of mine in New York, and after the first day, we rode the subway together out to Brooklyn. In the subway, we had this hugely entertaining conversation about supervillains and what kinds of vehicles they drive, and why do minions never get any cool shit, and blah, blah, blah. Super good conversation, went our separate ways, and then the next day in the workshop, for reasons I don't remember, I was reminded of this conversation, and so I referenced it, and as I'm talking about it, I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, when did we have this conversation? I haven't seen you in ages. And I said this to him, and he looked at me in disbelief and said, dude, that was yesterday. Oops. So yeah, this happens, and why does this happen? So I used to think that it's because we do too much stuff. He asked me, what the hell did you do yesterday after we parted ways? And I said, yeah, well, I did some emailing, I went back into Manhattan, had a drink with a friend, had dinner with some other friends, had a nightcap, went home. Yeah, we did lots of stuff. But I don't think that's why anymore. I think it's a lazy way of looking at it. I'm starting to think that the problem is that I don't know about you guys, but I'm not taking enough time to reflect on what's happened, to let it sink in and cement. I mean, yeah, I do lots of different things, and I'm not a full-time extrovert, so that means I also take time to hole up in my apartment for an entire weekend and not speak to anybody. But even that just takes the edge off. I don't actually think through what's happened or why it was interesting or why it was cool, and so memories continue to ricochet around in my head like dodgems and never get concreted anywhere. What does help is telling stories, talking to people. And this led me to think about journaling. Back in the day I had a blog, and when I had a blog and I posted a lot, I would sometimes write 400 words on the freak that accosted me in the bus on my way to work in the morning. This is not a terribly interesting topic, but I would think it was funny, and I would take the time to write it down. And actually, I remember that guy vividly. I remember his halitosis. I remember what he said. I don't remember what I did last Tuesday night. So this tells me that there's something to the idea of the reflected life. And going a bit further, the diaries of Samuel Pepys, which are a source of fascination for me and a bunch of my friends. He chronicled some of the most important moments in London history. He also chronicled loads of evenings that he spent with his wife at home, eating dinner and sitting in his armchair in front of the fireplace. And the thing is that these moments of quiet have a texture to them as well. And we can learn about him from those as much as from his response to major events that happened around him.